Johnny Depp's life has always been one of cinematic brilliance intertwined with personal turbulence. A celebrated actor, known for his chameleonic transformations on screen, Depp has captivated audiences worldwide with roles that range from the eccentric Captain Jack Sparrow to the brooding Edward Scissorhands. But behind the camera and under the relentless glare of fame, Depp's most cherished and complex role has been that of a father, specifically to his daughter, Lily-Rose Depp. Their story is not just one of celebrity parenthood, but of a deep, emotional bond tested by time, public scrutiny, and personal hardship. Lily-Rose Melody Depp was born on May 27, 1999, in Neuilly-sur-Seine, France, to Johnny Depp and French singer-actress Vanessa Paradis. The birth of their daughter marked a moment of profound change for Johnny, who had long struggled with the trappings of fame and a rock-and-roll lifestyle. In various interviews over the years, Depp has described Lily-Rose's birth as the moment his life acquired purpose. It wasn't just about films or accolades anymore. Fatherhood grounded him in ways he never expected. The wild enfant terrible of Hollywood now found himself reading bedtime stories and changing diapers, basking in a kind of love that no red carpet could offer. Johnny and Vanessa chose to raise Lily-Rose and her younger brother Jack away from the flashing lights of Los Angeles, opting instead for a quieter life in the French countryside. This decision allowed Lily-Rose to grow up with a semblance of normalcy, even as she belonged to a family at the epicenter of international fame. Her upbringing was bilingual, bicultural, and deeply artistic, an environment steeped in music, art, and cinema. Johnny adored his daughter, often referring to her as his greatest inspiration. From her earliest days, their bond was one of shared curiosity and mutual admiration, but love alone could not shield the family from change. In 2012, Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis ended their 14-year relationship. The separation was amicable, and both parents emphasized co-parenting and shielding their children from the turmoil of a public breakup. Nevertheless, the split marked the beginning of a more complicated phase in Johnny's relationship with Lily-Rose. As Johnny's career continued to demand more of him and his personal struggles with substance abuse began to surface more publicly, the once stable world they had carefully built started to fracture. The years following the breakup saw Johnny's personal life spiral into a series of controversies and legal battles. His relationship with actress Amber Heard became a tabloid frenzy, especially following her accusations of domestic abuse and the subsequent defamation trials. The media attention was relentless, and Johnny found himself painted in an unforgiving light. For Lily-Rose, now a teenager entering the public eye in her own right, the storm surrounding her father was both painful and confusing. Despite her father's tarnished reputation in some circles, Lily-Rose maintained a measured silence. She refused to capitalize on her surname or the scandal that surrounded it. Instead, she focused on forging her own identity. At just 15, she began modeling, quickly making waves with her unique blend of French sophistication and edgy individuality. By 2015, she became a Chanel ambassador, one of the youngest to ever hold that distinction. She also started acting, debuting in Kevin Smith's Yoga Hosers, which starred her and Smith's daughter Harley Quinn. The film may not have been a critical darling, but it marked the beginning of Lily-Rose's acting career and her subtle step out of her father's immense shadow. Throughout these years, Johnny watched his daughter's rise with a mix of pride and melancholy. He often spoke in interviews about how deeply proud he was of her independence, her strength, and her grace. But privately, the distance between them had begun to grow. His legal battles, particularly the high-profile case against The Sun in the UK and the defamation trial in the United States, took a toll on his ability to be present. Lily-Rose, for her part, was navigating the treacherous terrain of fame, adulthood, and identity without leaning too heavily on her father's name. She rarely commented on the drama surrounding him and often chose her words carefully when asked. This period of estrangement wasn't rooted in malice or betrayal. It was a reflection of the chaos that fame and scandal can inject into even the most genuine relationships. Johnny was grappling with the weight of public opinion and his own demons, while Lily-Rose was fiercely protecting the career and persona she was building independently. There were reports that their communication was strained, with some insiders suggesting they rarely saw each other during the height of Johnny's court battles. It was a painful irony, two people who adored each other being separated not by lack of love, but by circumstance. Yet, even in the darkest of times, love persisted. In 2020, when Johnny faced the most damning phase of his legal troubles, Lily-Rose broke her silence, not with grand gestures, but with a quiet post on Instagram, featuring a childhood photo with her father. It was a subtle but powerful message. Despite the noise, the accusations, and the headlines, her love for her father endured. The post was later deleted, perhaps under the weight of public scrutiny, but its message lingered. It served as a reminder that beneath the spectacle, a real family was navigating extraordinary hardship. As time passed and the media frenzy began to subside, the healing began. Johnny, though battered by public perception and Hollywood's cautious distance, remained steadfast in his affection for his children. He relocated to more secluded residences, began focusing on his artwork and music, and found solace in the company of those who knew him outside the limelight. For Lily-Rose, her career continued to bloom. She took on more serious acting roles, including the acclaimed HBO series The Idol, where she played a complex character opposite The Weeknd. The role proved controversial, but it also showcased her willingness to take risks and explore darker emotional terrain. The reunion between Johnny and Lily-Rose was not a dramatic cinematic moment. It was quiet, gradual, and deeply human. Sources close to the family revealed that they began speaking more frequently, texting often, and having long calls that spanned hours. Johnny reportedly made efforts to be more present, attending screenings when possible, sending her handwritten notes, and expressing his admiration for her choices, even when he didn't fully understand them. Lily-Rose, in turn, softened her guarded stance, inviting him to family gatherings and opening up about the ways his absence had affected her. One particularly poignant moment came when Johnny was spotted in the audience at a private screening of one of Lily-Rose's independent films. He didn't announce his presence or seek attention. He simply watched, visibly emotional. For a man who had played dozens of roles across decades, nothing could match the pride he felt in that darkened theater, watching his daughter shine in her own light. Later, in a rare interview, Johnny remarked that seeing Lily-Rose on screen moved him in ways he hadn't anticipated. He described her as brave, luminous, and utterly her own, a testament to both her mother's influence and her own fierce individuality. In 2024, father and daughter appeared together, though not in a professional capacity, at a charity event in Los Angeles. Their appearance was understated but significant. Photos captured them smiling, standing close, sharing quiet exchanges that spoke volumes. It was not a publicity stunt or a calculated move. It was a genuine moment of reconnection. The event marked a turning point in the public's perception of their relationship. For many, it was a heartening reminder that even in the tumultuous world of fame, authenticity and love could prevail. Their story continues to evolve, not as a fairy tale, but as a nuanced narrative of real-life challenges and emotional growth. Johnny, now in the later stages of his career, appears more reflective, often speaking about legacy, fatherhood, and the importance of family. He has embraced a quieter life, focusing on his art, his music, and the relationships that truly matter. Lily-Rose, for her part, remains a rising star, carving out a path that is distinctly her own while honoring the artistic roots from which she came. What makes their story resonate is not its drama, but its resilience. They are two people shaped by a shared history, caught in the cross-currents of fame, scandal, and public expectation. Yet through it all, they found their way back to each other, not through grand gestures or tabloid fodder, but through the slow, deliberate act of rebuilding trust. In a world quick to sensationalize and slow to forgive, their reunion stands as a quiet rebellion against cynicism. For Johnny, Lily-Rose will always be the little girl who transformed his life. Long before the world called her a fashion icon, a breakout actress, or the heir to a Hollywood dynasty. In his eyes, she is still the curious child who used to paint. Beside him in the studio, the little girl whose laughter filled the quiet corners of his home and whose presence made the chaos of fame seem distant and irrelevant. He often reminisces about those early days, when he would come home from long shoots and find her waiting with drawings she had made or questions about the world that only a child could ask. In her innocence, he found clarity. In her affection, he found redemption. Johnny has said that becoming a father saved him from self-destruction. He had lived recklessly, chased thrills, and danced on the edge of self-implosion. But Lily-Rose grounded him. She made him want to be better, not just for himself, but for someone else. His choices began to reflect not just his artistic instincts, but a desire to set an example, to create a legacy of depth rather than just spectacle. And for Lily-Rose, despite the complexities of their journey, the public scrutiny, the growing distance, the silence that sometimes settled between them like fog, Johnny remains the father who, in his own imperfect and unpredictable way, taught her some of life's most valuable lessons. She inherited more than just his eyes or his cheekbones. She absorbed his unfiltered passion for creativity, his reverence for art as a means of self-expression, and his unwavering commitment to authenticity. He taught her that flaws don't disqualify someone from love. They are what make love deeper. Even when she didn't understand the decisions he made, or when she felt the absence of his presence during formative moments, she held on to the memory of who he had been when the world was quiet, when it was just the two of them, lost in stories, music, and the kind of connection that fame could never fabricate. Their bond, though tested by time, fame, and life's unpredictable currents, was never broken. It stretched, sometimes painfully so, but it held. It endured the silence, the judgment, the loneliness that can creep into relationships marked by distance and complexity. Because at its core, their love was never about performance. It was about presence, the moments they did have, the ones they reclaimed, and the promise that no matter how far they drifted, they could always find their way back to each other. And in that enduring connection lies the real heart of their story. Not just one of love or of struggle, but of reunion, forged not by chance but by choice, a quiet, steadfast decision to keep showing up for each other, no matter how the world may change around them.